One and a two and a Box Punk. Box Punk. Box Punk. Box Punk.
What is up? It is Sunday. It is a matinee special. All right, here on Long Box Punk. That's me. I'm Chris. I'm the punk, and I am joined every single episode by rad creators. And this time, I've got Elijah Joseph in the house with me. Elijah, thanks for hanging out with me. I'm glad that this worked out timing wise, and we were able to connect, get you on, and talk about Print is Not Dead.
Thank you. It lucked out that you just had like enough time that I could sneak in right at the end of the campaign. I was gonna do it anyways, but I'm glad since I'm a narcissist, I have something to plug. So
Perfect. Timing works out well with the campaign. It's got what, just a couple days left, right?
Yeah, I believe we're 5 days remaining, but we will do some late pledges. So if you see this about a week later, you will still have a chance to grab Print is Not Dead. So do not worry.
Nice. And I do, let's just do the business part up front and then have the party in the back. I've got the link in the description below. So if you want to check out the campaign, which you totally should, it is 2 taps away and you'll have access to it. You can check out the campaign, get in on the rewards. You can get into the book even, which is dope. Lots of cool stuff happening over on that campaign, which is linked below. I repeat it multiple times because people forget. And
did you forget it's linked below, by the way?
Hey, I just remembered something. I mean,
but no pressure to click the link yet. Like, hear what it's all about. Hear the vibes. If you don't like my personality or what I have to say, you probably won't like the book. So I don't want you to waste your time. So let's hang out. And if you do like it, grab Print is Not Dead. So there, it's in the back. Look at
perfect.
It's very small.
I love it. See, I do that too with the little book display thing here. And then I realized like it's so far away, no one can ever see anything on it. So I just stopped putting up different books and I just leave it on some artwork that I received.
You just have to know that I am a nerd. My comic stack is actually over here, but
perfect.
Yeah,
it's good that you have a stack. I have like 7 shelves. That
you just see my box. I have like 6 boxes, like long boxes under my under here. So
yeah,
don't worry, you're not alone in
great. Yeah, my wife, like, they're starting to pile up now on the floor because under the bed is full here in the office. And my wife is like, babe, you've got to stop. Like, where are these going to go? It's like, I don't know, but I'll make it work. Okay. Don't worry about it.
Make it into a desk and then you can work. you can work on desk. Yeah. A standing desk. You're good.
Right. Perfect. The ADHD in me is like, yeah, let's stand all the time. Why sit? So that's perfect. So, okay. So if you want to just see my thoughts on Print is Not Dead, I also did a review on the channel a couple reviews ago. It's up and available for your viewing pleasure. And you just have to find that on your own after we're done talking. If you don't have the attention span to hang out for a full interview, which I don't think many people do, honestly, except for me.
Here, I'll give the pitch of it for Print is Not Dead, and then you give a quick review so they don't have to look for it.
Excellent. Yeah, let's do that. This is great.
So the pitch I like to say is it is 120 pages, comic anthology. I always like to. This is the small version. This is not even the big. This is the preview that I was doing at Terrific Con, but it is 100. The actual one is 120 pages, illustrated by 20 artists from around the world, super talented. I went through maybe 500 to 1,000 art portfolios to find like the perfect artists for each story. So it was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that went into it. So I took like 3 years to do. The stories inside are kind of inspired by like manga digest and as well as like Stephen King short story collections. But it's not just horror, it's action, sci-fi, comedy, and more. I like to say it's a little bit of everything for everyone, kind of trying to tap into the discovery of like shifting through boxes at your local, the back issue bin and
Yeah.
finding something like just super sick that you didn't know you would love. So that's why they're kind of all different genres. So it's a little bit of everything for everyone. Yeah. Print is not dead.
Yeah, and so as a reader reading it, it is definitely like just pulling out you buy a stack of books because your comic shop is like, hey, we're selling 50 books for $1, and you're like, cool. Do I pick them? They're like, no, we got you. Like, we already have 50 books here. It's like going through a stack of those 50 books because you get some that like hit super deep with you, and you're like, oh, this is the exact story that I needed to read. And then you also have stories that you're like, might not be my style or my subject matter, but like this artwork is dope. And so there's one page, like the single page comics. I found myself reading those first because that's such a hard thing to write, of like a complete story in a single page, let alone like 17 of them or something, like 14.
Yeah, there's
Some
about
crazy number.
17. We're adding another one because we hit a stretch goal. But yeah, I was actually inspired by the Comic Jam as you're a part of,
Yeah.
where we do one panel a day, and I just thought it was just a really wonderful exercise to try to tell a story in like a compressed one-page format. And so I really love the idea of kind of having entrees, or for me, the book is kind of set up so even though there is different styles and different genres, the one pages are kind of like I don't know, like ginger in between sushi to like reset your palate. Yeah, so
Yeah, I like that you already said that you intentionally were going after different genres,
yeah,
because with anthologies, a lot of times it's like, hey, here's our theme.
yeah,
So everything's going to be on that theme. Well, then you're limiting your audience to people that like that theme. With Print
yeah.
is Not Dead, it's literally wide open. Like there's stories for all different walks of life, all different character types, all different like endings. Some are super happy and uplifting. Some are like, ugh.
Yeah.
There's a one pager that I really like where the ending had me like, oh, where the guy realizes that he's in the comic.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like
And-
I think that's my favorite one of the entire
Honestly,
book.
same. It is my I don't know why I put at the end, but I should have put it at the beginning, but I just do feel like it's such a perfect button as well for like the end of that section of the book. Yeah, I love that's Jack Von Thome, I believe his name is, and he's super talented. Literally, when I got into the Comic Jam, I was looking through, or before I got in, I was looking through like the back issues, and his comics just kept popping up like visually in my mind. I was like, I need to work with him, and then thankfully he was like, yeah, sure, whatever, I'll make something for you for the and he's super sick. We're actually going to work on a card game next, so
Nice.
hopefully, fingers crossed. But yeah, he's a great collaborator. And just like every artist in the collection, it's just honestly been so wonderful, and it's been a pleasure to meet and get to work with them all.
Yeah, I mean, I'm super jealous because now you've gotten to do work with all of these different artists, and like you're kind of in a unique spot where if there's people that you're like, hey, let's do more than we did for that, like you've already established a working relationship with them. You know how they work, they know how you work,
Yeah.
like you know how to write to their strengths, and so then you just get to continue playing and creating with these badass people. Like that's such a smart, because you wrote all of the stories in the book and just had all of these different artists come on and add their own flair and flavor to it. And I want to get into all of that. You know what? We're live. Who cares? So like when you were first writing this, like how did this idea come to be of like, I want to do an anthology that's all different genres, that I write everything and work with a bunch of different artists? Like, how did you even come up with that?
So it's I kind of reverse engineered it. So I'm a marketer by trade, and the origin of how it started was I'm obsessed with like just getting as best as I can. And so I wrote, I don't know, like 50, 30, whatever short stories, kind of just all working on different things like action, dialogue, not using any dialogue. And I had just had about 30 stories, like short stories, not even the one pagers.
Yeah.
and I was just like, wow, I really like some of these ones. I really like a lot of these ones, and those are the ones that I like narrowed it down. It was like, killing a child, killing your children, I guess, killing your darlings, not killing your children. Oops, flagged by YouTube.
Yeah.
And I just got it down to like my favorite 5 that were just for me interesting and different. And personally, I read and watch everything. I read manga, I read romance novels. Like I love all different kinds of stories, TV shows, movies, and it honestly, this kind of like birthed the philosophy of my small press, which is now like stories for story lovers. It doesn't necessarily have to fit the theme, but it is just, here's a bunch of shit, and I hope I hope you like it, because that's what I like. I love stories, different characters, different motivations.
Yeah.
I just want to hear and read a good story. So hopefully, that comes through. That
That's
was kind
awesome.
of the theme, even though there is no theme, but that's
Yeah.
the theme of like discovery or
That's how do
yeah.
you find the time to not only like read all of the things, but
Yeah.
also write all of the things? Like what is your life that you can do that? Are you getting like 3 hours of sleep every night?
Yeah, I'm also in a very, very fortunate position where I live with family still. They support me no matter what I do. So
Mm,
I don't have the pressure of, like working as hard as another person would need to be able to do everything. But then I just also don't stop working. I don't know if it's like my hyperfixation because of ADHD, but I just love telling stories. And
yeah.
so I constantly do it. I'm hopefully going to be releasing 2 ongoing series next year, on top of what I'm already doing. So I, I just have an affinity for it. And I found some really great artists who are like, I'll do it cheaper, just so we can tell this really cool story. So,
Mm.
I'm just very, very lucky, and I'm a maniac, I guess. At the end of the day, I literally don't do anything else besides like go out with my girlfriend and sometimes my friends. I'm writing or working. So if you really want it, you gotta just make time for it, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so I feel like I'm a broken record because I keep talking about it, but like I recently changed entire career paths. Like I was
Uh,
working an office job, sitting at a desk 9 to 5, answering phones and emails and shit. And now I'm a full-time employee number 3 for like working in a warehouse doing order fulfillment and all of this like warehouse inventory management stuff,
yeah.
and have to work in person for that. So now not only am I commuting every day, whereas I used to just work from home, but now also like I'm exhausted because I'm on my feet running around carrying
Mm,
packages, slinging boxes, all that stuff.
yeah.
And so now like I get home and I'm just dead ass tired.
Mm.
And then I'm like, oh yeah, I still have to be a husband and I still gotta like, play with the dog and do
Yeah.
all these things. And my daughter's about to start college.
Yeah.
And so like there's all of that stuff. And then at some point when, I'm laying in bed and I'm supposed to be asleep and it's 2 a.m. and I'm staring at the wall, I'm like, oh yeah, I have all of these comics that I'm supposed to be reading and like all of this stuff I'm supposed to be doing. And
Yeah.
I just haven't figured out the like rhythm yet of
So
like,
I have a solution for you, possibly. I used
great.
to work like a factory job where I would be exhausted at the end of the day, and it's harder when you have like a wife and kids. I'm thankfully I just have a really wonderful girlfriend who understands my shit, and she's now doing dice, so she has her own hobby, which I'm very
Okay.
happy about. And but what I found for me that was very successful is literally waking up an hour before I should wake up, even if that's going to bed a little bit earlier or whatever.
Yeah.
Not watching Netflix at night, just like going right to bed, and then using that hour as my time. I
Mm,
wrote like 2 graphic novels by just writing 1 hour every day, just every single day. Like it doesn't, and well, I guess that was screenplays, but they're pretty close to graphic novels at
yeah.
that point.
Yeah.
But still, it is finding the time and just like waking up early, because if you don't have energy at night, then wake up in the morning when you have some more energy and are the most creative, and then you can focus on like the labor shit,
Yeah.
use your brain in the morning and then drone around for the rest of the day.
Turn it off and just
Yeah.
perfect. Yeah, we have a retired guy. So my boss I've known since college, so like 15 years or whatever. I actually officiated his wedding because his wife was my best friend all through high school.
Oh, very cool.
So like everything worked out perfectly with all of this, and it kind of came up naturally where he was just keeping me up to date with his business. And he was like, yeah, we're updating, we're upgrading a warehouse, getting into this new space, whatever. And I was like, well, if you're moving to a new warehouse that's 2.5 times the old one, like, are you hiring people, or like, how does, not even trying to get a job out of him, just like, what do you do? And he was like, actually, yeah, I do need like, I was just thinking this morning, I need to hire somebody full time. And I was like, oh, really? Tell me more.
Tell me more. I like money.
I would love a career change. And it's definitely the right mood.
Yeah.
Because like I was out just running errands and shit with my wife yesterday, or Friday, because today's Sunday. Yeah, Friday night we like went out to dinner. We had to go to the store for some stuff, and I was just like feeling very light. I don't know how else to describe it. Like it was just a very like playful thing of like going to Meijer and buying chicken, like whatever, right? But it was just one of those moments of like, oh, I don't feel super down and depressed and anxious about like, this is really great. Now I just need to figure out the schedule thing, but I'm not a morning person, but I am willing to take, like drink some chamomile tea or something to knock my ass out at like 8 p.m. and try.
Yeah. I think especially with ADHD, I've found structure has really helped.
Yeah.
And then it's really weird. Like I'm unmedicated, which I should not be realistically, but like it's discipline has been the best tool in my belt. I did. So the reason why I got into doing like I write every morning for 1 hour, and the reason why I got into that is because Jerry Seinfeld said to do it, and he's like very prolific in writing, and I was like, he probably knows something, maybe.
Yeah.
Is he semi quasi in a cult? Who cares? This one thing, but like I tried it. I just wrote every day. I didn't break the chain, and eventually it just became super easy. Waking up in the morning wasn't awful, and I got so much done. Could be journaling, writing, editing. As long as you're doing a focused hour of something, it just it compounds. It's sorry, I'm like doing a TED talk right now, but like
it's great.
It's truly changed my life for the better, and this is how I get so much shit done, because focus time is really good.
Yeah. It's that structure that I still haven't figured out yet. So I'm like throwing jello at a wall, just seeing what sticks at this point.
Yeah.
And like trying to tell my wife, hey, I can't hang out and watch a thing with you because I gotta go read comics. She'd be like, what? Like, what are you talking about? So finding some time that, and I can say that because she's not home right now.
Fuck my wife.
You don't know anything, babe. And then I come out and she's like just sitting on the couch waiting.
You just I was gonna say she's already there. She turns on the lights are already on, but it's a brighter light.
She still clicks on the corner lamp. Click, click. Really, babe? I love my wife. I'm in a healthy relationship. It's just I've explained to her, like, it's just so easy to poke fun because we're so different people that like I'm the talkative, outgoing. She always jokes that like half the reason she married me is because I talk enough for the two of us.
My girlfriend.
And I always tell people like, that's not a joke. Like it started real, and now we both laugh because it's true. But and she like it's fun because I just got the print proofs for our comic.
Nice.
And she was reading through it, and I was trying not to sit there like right the whole time because I know she hates being watched.
So I watch her. Nah.
So I hold my phone and watch her over the top of the phone, and then she knew what I was doing.
The dissonance of the camera it makes it different.
Right, right. But yeah, like she noticed things as some really read comics. I just think they knew. And she was like, why did like it feels disjointed or it feels cut here? It's really fast in like pacing and stuff. And I was like, well, yeah, because it's 8 pages. Like it, we had to make it a complete story, like all the and so halfway through, I was just like, oh, we think very differently. Like we have a lot in common, but I think it was good for me as the storyteller to realize like, oh, there's gonna be people that don't understand this. So maybe in the next chapter I can add more. Like it's too late now, obviously, and I don't want to change anything that we have, just because my wife said so, right? But like I can take that and add that to the next story that we tell. Like, are there people that that you had that experience with when sharing Prince Not Dead with, of just like they gave you feedback that you never expected?
I'm giving shout out to my girlfriend again. She is my editor in chief, honestly. I everything goes through her. She has a very specific taste, and she at the end of the movies, like anybody else that I have dated in the past, I would just like nerd out about the good, the bad about the movies, and she does the same with me. So I really trust her gut and insight, and I will argue back with a lot of or discuss back about why and certain things, but I think she makes me a better writer and just gives me it's hard to write just for yourself, and having a second pair of eyes on anything is really good. I actually fired an editor that I had once for a project that I kind of threw away because they were like, it's too experimental, do a 3-act structure and then you can do weird shit when you're famous. And I'm like, I want to do weird shit all the time. People don't. And like, she didn't get it. She's trying to fit it inside this box instead of like grow the garden of what's already there. And that turned me off. And that's why I fired her, because I was like, you don't get it. You don't understand what I'm trying to do. But my girlfriend, she's very brilliant, and she will understand it and then say, here's what you could do to make your point stand out better. And I always appreciate it. So yeah.
That's cool. So let's just jump all over the place. How did you get into comics to begin with? Like, where did all of this start for you?
So it's actually really funny. I just met the guy. I wish I still have the book. I meant to buy it somewhere in my room. I have ADHD, so I'll never find it ever again. But I was maybe like 5 or 10 years old. A very large range. But I was at like a local fair, and I saw this comic creator, and it was like a Power Kid or something, and that was the first comic that I ever really like read. Like my uncle tried to get me into him a little bit, but maybe it was just perfect timing, and then I picked it up and I was like, oh, this is really cool. And then I started going. I dragged my family to like the local comic book shop, Sarge's, which is still live and kicking in here in New London, Connecticut. And I just doxed myself, but I just like found just a bunch of stuff. I just started reading. One of my first real comics is Robin from 1993, one of the hollow covers over there.
I have that same one. Yeah.
Nice. Hell yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, for some reason, like everybody has that comic. I'm not sure what it is,
it's
but
a great comic, man. And the cover, like the circle, and it looks like he's flying down into it. Like it's just
through the glass.
Yeah.
Super sick. But so that's how I kind of got into it. And then by trade, I never thought like I was never one of the kids. I was like, "Ooh, I'm gonna make comics." It just never was my thing. I think if I found it before, I got interested in magic, so I was a magician. And I was actually a professional magician for like decades, like until I'm 20 decades. I'm like 29 now, but like 20 pre-pandemic, I was doing like full time. I was touring, and then I kind of just fell out of love with like the entertainment life. And so I was like, well, what's better than making magic tricks? It was gonna be easier if I make comic books. No, but I've been reading throughout my time, and magic was really 99% story, 1% trick. So I've just spent a lot of my time becoming just the best storyteller that I could be, and I don't really want to direct or make movies, and I'm not intelligent enough to hold attention through prose, I honestly believe. And comics is close enough to movies because that's what I wanted to make when I was younger, that it just feels like a movie in your hand. And so it really drew me to the medium, and I got hyper obsessed and just started reading everything I could find, from Eastern, manga to just classics like Watchmen and whatnot. And made my first couple comics. They were really bad. And then I just really got obsessed, just kept working at it. I think I wrote like 10 graphic novels before I landed on something that I was like, I'm going to, this is like in a few year period, obviously not just like in 1 year, but just obsessed over it getting good. And I'm still learning things every day, which is really cool to kind of see the progress. Like, not comparing myself to Quentin Tarantino, but I got to watch his like first short film recently, and it's really cool to see the evolution. And so I like building in public so people can see the evolution with me. So hope that answers your question. It's kind of how I got into it, and I'm just super passionate about it, and I really hope to take it as far as I can. My personal goal is to be like Mount Rushmore of comic creators in my own lane, but I like to shoot for the moon and land amongst the stars, even though that's stupid of a saying. That's really dumb of a saying, because
There's
how
no
am I going to
between us and the moon?
Yeah.
Like, that was always my complaint. Like, you got to go past the moon to
you
get
got to shoot for the stars, land on the moon. I feel like should have been the saying, but
that's great. See, those are the things in life that I get hung up on, and I'm like, I can't. I don't. That's not right.
Yeah.
Not everybody needs to hear it. They're just using it for imagery. Shut your mouth, and then I'm like, it's not true though.
Yeah, like one of my a really stupid bit so I was also a professional. I tried to be like more of a comedian for like 3 years, and one of these bits I could not get to work that I think is really funny is, I hate when people say A for effort, because it doesn't even start with an A, like
Yeah. Because we are actually we've got Gary sounding off, checking out your Kickstarter. How many pages is the print edition?
It is 120 pages, and it's 120 pages.
Now, is that potentially getting longer with further stretch goals?
Yeah, so we're gonna add a short story if we hit 6,000, which we are 800 away 5 days ago. Maybe we'll hit it, maybe not. And you definitely have one more short comic that's coming in, because we got somebody who wanted to be drawn into a comic, and so at least 124, because I have to print it in fours, but I'll figure out what to fill in the other three spaces. But 120 pages.
That's awesome. That was the printing in fours is one of the things that I learned through doing this show that I had never thought of. And then as soon as the person was like, well, it has to be done in.
Thank you, Gary.
What a G, man.
Yeah.
And not just because his name is G for Gary, but showing up on the live stream, sounding off in the comments, supporting indie comics. Like, Gary, you're the reason that we get to do this. So thank you, man.
Seriously. And proof he did it. I'm not going to show him because it would give away his government name, but I just got the notification. So thank you for not lying.
I've had that too. Yeah. We were doing, so my collaborator and I, also named Chris, we're doing shows promoting our comic during June. And we went on one, and there were 7 people that said that they backed it and all this stuff. And then I went to because I'm over hyper compulsive, and
of course,
looking at all the
I need to know,
all the people, and I was like, there were 7 people that said they sounded off. And then I looked at the amount that we had raised, and I was like, it's $4 more. 7 people can't pledge $4. What the hell?
They only donated 75 cents.
Yes, 60 cents each. Or I was like, well, whatever. It was still a fun show, but that's neither here nor there. Speaking of there, though, that's not a transition because it's.
I like it. Don't worry about. Don't even think about it. Don't even call it out. I think it's hilarious. Go ahead.
So, speaking of there, with the 20 stories,
Yeah.
like, were they all written kind of back to back to back, or are they like, were they written over the span of like that 3-year period? And then you did the cherry picking of like, well, that one's not terrible, and this one's
Yeah.
better than hot trash. And like, how did they, because basically what I'm trying to get to is like, were you in the same life experiences when you wrote all of them? And
Gotcha.
can you tell that,
The
like,
voice of where I am in each
yeah,
one.
yeah,
They were written over a span of 2 years.
okay,
2 years. And I definitely I also went back and did a lot of rewriting like this year, because I have learned a lot since then, so I wanted to refresh it. And a lot of the writers I grew up reading are like, I wish I could go back in and re-edit some stuff, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go do that before it comes out. So there's a lot of me from the past and from the present in all of them, and I think it's really cool to see the evolution. I think they're, first of all, they're ordered in completely different ways. I try to make it as coherent as possible, even though they're different. So you have like, funny, and then kind of get more depressing towards the end. uh, just more real and deeper, which I really appreciate.
Mhm.
Because that's like a conversation with somebody. You start off with the funny and then you get
Yeah,
into the real stuff. And
yep.
that's kind of what I tried to do. But I mean, I'm just trying to think of the stories off the top of my head. They are, I don't know if you want me to go into exactly what state of life I was, but stake in the heart about like a young vampire protector. And it's really about her first mission and just wanting to, to succeed and make her father proud. And for me, that was really about like, kind of like my first real project, honestly. Like,
Mm,
what if I fail? What if this crashes and burns? And what if all this work I've been kind of doing kind of leads up to nothing? And then I got to wrap it in the skin of just a genre bending version of, a vampire story. Instead of vampire hunters, you have like vampire protectors.
yeah,
And I haven't seen it done, and I really wanted to do it, I guess.
yeah.
uh Red Pebble Park is about a inspector who goes to a national park and is going to decide if he shuts it down. And that was kind of reflective of me just being, when I was younger, I was very in my head and I had to do it completely right. And I've really learned throughout the years that it's better to be open and just like really just see the beauty all around you.
Mm,
And that's kind of where that kind of came into play. And I had this like idea for a while of just like doing a absurd like ranger park, and I got to tie in some heart into it, which was really awesome.
yeah.
Black Letter is about getting a letter from the government, and it tells you that you're going to die, kind of a population control kind of thing. And I don't know, I was super depressed a long time ago, but like it just like it made me think a lot about death and how would
Mm,
I spend my last days if I was like a normal person, not super depressed, like if I knew it was coming. But no, it's like, do you have to accept the inevitable, or do you have to freak out? And I think personally, I think it tackles both of the spectrum of,
yeah.
well, all three. I think duty, acceptance, and just kind of like straight up paranoia about not living to the fullest. One of Us, the least heart in it. This was just purely because I watched The Thing and I was like, what if this happened instead? And then I put it in space instead of in Antarctica. That is it.
Mhm.
There's no backstory besides I thought this would be fucking sick and I wanted to write sci-fi.
Perfect. I love that that's a cheat code too, of like, I want to do sci-fi. So what if I take this idea and just put it on a spaceship?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's,
Yeah, it
all right.
sounds good. It sounds good. I don't know if it's cheating or not, but I have self-proclaimed myself as a genre bender. I just really like breathing in new airs to old stories,
Yeah.
and I think that is something I just really enjoy doing. So, but yes, it's just like, why not if I do opera in space? And yeah, we call it, and they fight in the stars. Oh, Star Wars.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, and then the last the last story is actually probably my favorite, and it's about a literal troll who's an artist, and he is kind of like deciding if he wants to compromise on his values of being what an artist is. It kind of was inspired by like one, I'm what's the word? I'm I'm putting my art for money for this
Mhm.
Kickstarter is kind of like I was thinking about selling my art, and I've
Mm,
always told, stories on YouTube. I was a creator for like 10 years for free. So it was always weird to make something, and do I have to make it for other people, make it for myself? Money gets involved and it's really weird. What if they like kind of like Banksy, he does this one thing as an act of defiance and then becomes like a martyr essentially of like and it's like commercialized, and when you started something out and then it turns into just like this whole system, how do you deal with that? And a part of it also deals with like your past coming back to bite you in the ass, or unveiling something. And
mhm.
that was kind of just thinking about like cancel culture and how it's sometimes you leave things in the past and maybe it shouldn't be brought up again, and but you're still embarrassed by it. It just reminds me of like when I was starting out as a magician, I would like do on the street stuff. I would like, it's not literally robbing people as a troll under the bridge, which is the kind of the joke there, but
Yeah.
um I was like doing, panhandling, and then I find myself at like an NFL after party being paid to perform, and I just feel like it was almost dirty, like the panhandling, even though I'm entertaining and making people happy, whatever. It just the contrast of lives and the lights and stuff. Just I don't know. It's just it just felt strange and embarrassing, but
Mm,
it's kind of a part of it to do your dreams and stuff like that. So
yeah.
sorry I went on the whole rant. I really feel passionate about all of the stories and should have shut me up at any point in time.
No, it's
Uh,
great.
but those are just the thoughts and feelings and emotions behind that one, all of them, and then how I thought The Thing is one of my favorite movies, and I wanted to make an homage to it.
Yeah. Secret Time, I hadn't watched The Thing,
Oh,
like, start to finish
sure,
until 2 years ago, and, like,
you
enough
missed out.
people I did!
You
Like,
missed
as
out.
soon as it was done, I was like, "I can't fucking believe it took me so long to see this movie." I also, though, felt the same about Pumpkinhead.
Mm,
Because holy shit, that movie is so good. And
brilliant.
like the practical effects that they use, similar to The Thing, like I'm a sucker for practical effects in horror movies.
Yeah.
And so both of those, I waited way too long and then finally watched them. And so now I'm just like, I make an October spooky movie watch list
Sure.
in like August, and I started in August. And
Hell yeah.
I after watching The Thing, I was like, I need to make sure every movie on my list is one that I haven't seen before.
Mm.
And whether that's like finding it from other people in the rankings, because I love those rankings of like the
Me
top
too.
10 best slasher movies.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I've seen all 10 of those. But like, what about number 11? Right? Like, what's that
What's
one?
next? Absolutely.
And so I go for like weirdest horror movies of all time, or like, just most bonkers 80s slosh fests horror movies. Like, what are those? And so I find weird ass movies like that. And my
Yeah.
wife is like, I'll watch like these 3 movies on your list of 87 movies. That's not an exaggeration.
No,
I have
I
87
bet. I
movies.
bet. Yeah, yeah.
I have a
I can see
spreadsheet.
that.
It's incredible. I love it.
No, I
But
just to
like,
tack onto that, I think it's a lot of those things like are about like hype. Like if a lot of people like it, it can't be that good, which is kind of like a weird psychological thing. Like I was the same way with like oh my god, I can't think of the name, and one of the most Quentin Tarantino. Uh, she's smoking a cigarette
is
on
it Kill
the
Bill?
poster. Yeah, no, not Kill Bill.
Oh, Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction. I don't know how I forgot that. So that's become one of my favorite movies. But I put it off for so long, and I was like, it
Mhm.
can't be that good. And I watched it, and I was like, okay, well, my bad, guys. Sorry, whatever. So
Too bad it was that good. Damn it.
my
I definitely
pretentiousness kept me
yeah,
from watching good shit.
I see. I've had both experiences, and I usually don't dunk on things, but I have no problem dunking on this because I don't like it at all. I was told all through high school that Napoleon Dynamite's the funniest movie on the world,
Mm,
and I watched it, and I was like, "This is dumb as shit." Like,
mm,
this is the movie that everybody like. Why? And I don't know if it's because it was over quoted to me, and so I
uh,
already knew the like, give me some of your thoughts, or like, you're just gonna be picking up chicks. I know those not because I've watched the movie so many times. It was one and done forever, but because so many people quote it that
mm.
it's like, oh, okay.
That sucks. It was a great movie, super hilarious. I wish it wasn't ruined for you.
Yeah, it
You
was
would
a
have enjoyed
total miss
it.
for me.
We
But
can't have. I'm sorry. I got to stop this interview. We
then,
can't have any Napoleon Dynamite hating in
you
my
know what,
feed.
Elijah? It's my show, okay?
You know what?
So
Fair. You know, good point. Go. I'll go fuck myself.
glad you got the subtext there. Thank you. But I've also had the other experience where I put off watching something because everybody's talking about it, and then I finally watch it and I'm like, oh, all right, no, this you're right. It was I can't obviously think of any examples because I'm always the one that's right in these situations. Clearly said no one ever, especially me, but I like it has happened where then I have to tell my wife like, okay, you're right. I watched it and it was really good and I liked it and I'm sorry I said I wasn't going to like it. So, can we just
Yeah.
move on?
Let's move on. I just admitted it, and that's the hardest thing anybody could ever do.
Yeah. Do you want me to write it on the calendar? Anytime she says like you were right through the gritted teeth, I go to the calendar in the kitchen and I write down Chris was right on the date and I take a picture of it. I
That's
don't
how.
remember.
That's how rare it happens.
Yeah, that's how rare it happens. Yeah, I have 2 of those pictures.
It's like a blood moon. It happens every wedding.
Yeah, in the 12 years that we've been married, twice that's happened. But it's you gotta have fun with this marriage thing, because it's not always easy, and that's fine. What is easy is reading comics. So with
You're
um,
master of transitions. I love it. I will keep
with
rambling forever about the one topic, so I appreciate
I
it.
I'm super good at that too, and to the point that like my wife will say, "Babe, the line was 10 minutes ago," and I'm like, "Okay, but I still had thoughts." And I just need to once I start, I'm like a snowball and I can't
Just
stop
keep
rolling
going. Just
downhill.
keep going.
And I usually pick up the momentum as I'm going and I get faster and more animated and louder. And then she's like, babe, you are like
Chill.
way too far right now.
Everybody's looking at us in this Chili's right now. You need to stop.
I just came here for the 2 for 25. Hey, slow down, okay? These chips and salsa is great. You, not so great. So
Chill.
which
Little,
like real talk, Chili's chips and salsa are insanely good.
yeah.
Like there's no reason those chips should be that good.
I just
And
went for the first time
Chili's,
recently. Brilliant. I
yeah.
One of those things I was like, it can't be that good. Can't be that good. And that I was wrong. But you know what is that good? Reading comics.
Reading comics.
I'm
So,
learning.
there was a super you just make a hard left by adding a couple words, and
We
it's
get
the
there.
secrets of the trade, my friend. With Print is Not Dead, are there like books or other authors that you can point to and be like, yeah, there's a heavy influence from X, whatever,
Mm.
whoever in this story, like their handprints all over it?
Um, I don't. I mean, maybe in the DNA of it, there's in the DNA of everything I do. There's probably a little bit of Mitch Hedberg. It's a lot of like not writers necessarily. Um, and I take my inspiration. I read and I absorb so much, and
Mhm.
so I think in directors as well. I think overall, I would say, unfortunately, he's not a good guy anymore. But from like a comic standpoint, Neil Gaiman. Uh, awful guy, great writer. He has his handprints all over it, like he usually does. Oh, sorry. I love I love Edgar Wright. His directing style and his writing tickles my bones. I do love like Alan Moore, but I wouldn't say I'm like an Alan Moore protege, to be honest. I admire him and I like what he does. A lot of anime, just I can't remember their names off the top of my head, but a lot of like expressiveness and stuff just kind of bleeds through there. Humor wise, love me some Bo Burnham, Mitch Hedberg. I would say John Mulaney, Steve Martin, massive influence. I think he'd probably be, if I had a Mount Rushmore of influence, it would probably be Steve Martin, Edgar Wright. Unfortunately, Neil Gaiman, even though he's not a good person. And the third person would probably be recently he's become the fourth person, and I can't think of his name right now, but he created Chainsaw Man, and he wrote this book called Goodbye Eri, and also a manga called Look Back, and those are some of the best storytelling pieces of art that I have ever read, and it's truly transformed how I want to be portrayed as a creator. And how I want to tell my stories, and it's just I still have my like unique style and sense, but I'm just like, ever read something you're like, damn, I want to quit. I want to quit because I'll never be this good. But hopefully, if I can like hone a fraction of all those four people, I feel like I'm doing the best that I can. So
that's awesome.
Thank
you. I like how you put that into a Mount Rushmore, because as a wrestling fan, I'm always talking like, oh, what's your Mount Rushmore wrestling? And
it's
like,
just easy. It's so like universal. Okay, these are the best people that have ever existed, even though those are probably not the four best people who have ever existed. But whatever. Let's not get into politics.
It's right. I mean, it's no one likes that except for weirdos and rich people. Which itself is a statement. I like talking about the Mount Rushmore thing though, because like even in talking about it more, because I've never talked about it with wrestlers, I just have my favorite, or I've never talked about it with creators because I just know who my favorite people are. But to say like, yeah, that's my Mount Rushmore feels more, I don't know, substantial than just like, oh yeah, that's my favorite creator. So I like using, I'm going to steal that from you. And
go ahead, take it. I'm
going to start asking people their Mount Rushmore of influences, because that's like hearing that you not just have comic influences, but like comedians and like just the broad spectrum of which you pulled from for the influences, like that in itself is a fun conversation, because a lot of times with the conversation with comic creators, it's super easy to just default to let's talk about comics and comic creators. But if you take out the fact, like Sam Raimi, for me, the way that he made Evil Dead and then successively Evil Dead 2 and then Army of Darkness, like it just, that approach and what he did and the practical effects, and Bruce Campbell is incredible. Like I have a whole wall of just like Army of Darkness, Evil Dead, Bruce Campbell.
I knew I liked you for some reason. I couldn't tell what it was, but now it's becoming clear.
There it is. He signed my laser disc of Army of Darkness.
That's so sick.
I put it in front of me. He was like, "Is this a fucking laser disc?" I was like, "Yes, it is." Well, it's just the case. It's not the disc. I wouldn't bring that in here. Like, I don't think I've ever signed one of these before. I was like, "Yes,
I will live in your mind forever."
I'll forever be the laser disc guy. But like, if you don't think about that, because now I'm thinking like, okay, so what would my influences be? Like Army of Darkness, Sam Raimi, Evil Dead, Bruce Campbell, all kind of fit together as one weird misshapen head, which fits. Robin Williams would be on there. I grew up with Robin Williams. He still is the only celebrity death that just wrecked me. Like, I caught out from work the next day because I couldn't put myself together thinking about growing up more without having more of his movies. And I
Yeah.
was like in college when he passed, and I was house sitting for my dad, who
Yeah.
was on like just vacation with my stepmom out in Canada on the West Coast to see her oldest son. And so I was house sitting, taking care of the dog, and I got the news, and like I remember where I was, roughly the 7 hours that I was crying about it, just like broken. My phone's blowing up because everyone's like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" Because like I owned all of his movies, all the things. So Robin Williams is up there. Then it's like, well, should Blink-182 be there? Because they're like my end all be all for music. I can mark what I did and what I was doing in my life by which album of theirs I was listening to.
Yeah.
So like if I want to get all up in my feels, I put Neighborhoods on. If I want to like be upset about family shit, I put on Take Off Your Pants and Jacket.
Sure.
Like if I want to feel really good about everything that's going on, I put on their self-titled, even though it's not a happy album. But
Sometimes
like
sadness is the best happiness, honestly.
it is.
You
It
know?
is. And
Yeah.
like that album came out senior year, and I have a flashbulb memory of
Mm.
Neil Birch. Shout out to Neil wherever you are right now. Running out of the building. I was standing at my car talking to a friend of mine, and he came running out like, "Topher, did you hear? Blink-182 has a new album coming out. It's gonna be awesome." And I was like, "No, I know. What do we do? What do we do?" And like just freaked out in the parking lot with him.
Just start throwing cash out of your pockets, like
Yeah,
just,
it was like, just
I've already
take
paid
all
for
of it. I don't even need it. But then like also Rancid should be up there because they were the first real band that got me into punk to begin with.
Sure.
Like when I heard An Out Come the Wolves, it was just like, whoa, this can be music. Like it was fast and aggressive and also like fun and dancey, and it just like it shifted what I wanted from music. And then once I started telling other people like, yeah, I really like Rancid, then I found other people that are like, I really like Rancid, and then they turned me on to more music. And so like I found my people through that. And when I met Lars 2 years ago, he was at a random like horror convention in Ohio, and I was like, I don't know why you're here, and I don't care, because I just get to tell you, like, I have a Rancid patch on my vest, and like your music shifted my life for the better. Like I found my people through talking about Rancid to people. And he was like, "Oh man, thank you." So like super humble about it, super cool. So I guess that would be my Mount Rushmore, but then that doesn't include any comic creators.
And I think I'm going to go out and have a really bold statement. I also, before I do that, I also want to shout out my man Watsky, probably one of my biggest artistic influences. He's a musician, and his journey has just been so fascinating to watch him rise. And unfortunately, I think he retired. Hopefully he comes back out one of these days, but fantastic musician, a little bit all over the place, but he's very bright, very like, linguistic, and it's just something that you don't see a lot in music, and it's for the nerdy kids. So big old fat nerd, loved it. And I'm gonna make a bold statement. I think the best comics have not been written by people who are influenced by comics. I'm just gonna say it.
Mm-hmm.
Taking inspiration from everywhere is how great arts get made.
Yeah.
There's great comics. We are growing up in the generation with great comics, but that did not exist. The people who were the best creators, they pulled from everywhere. They didn't pull just from comics, because once you're in the sandbox of comics, it becomes very, very limited. And I guarantee Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, they were sure they loved comics, but I'm sure they consumed everything.
Yeah.
And that's my bold comment for the day. That you're gonna clip it. I'm gonna get so much hate.
You're right. I already marked it.
Everybody hates Elijah. But don't get me wrong, there are brilliant writers and indie comics out there. I'm not backpedaling. I just want to make my statement clear that there's great shit out there. I just don't think it's coming from the top two, the big guys. They don't inspire me. I don't need to see another. I mean, sure, there's some great arcs, but Exactly, Gary. See, I love you, Gary. We'll get along great. We need to have a beer together. He says, I agree. People who only live and breathe comics usually make self-referential comics, like a snake eating its own tail. And I couldn't agree more. I think the things that excite me are things I haven't seen before, things like taken from other places. So, all that to say, I love comics. Please buy my book.
Obviously.
No, I do think there's some really brilliant creators that I really do love Kickstarter. On a serious note, it has been a really, really, really awesome way just to find really great stories. I've got so many like Kickstarter books now, and it's so sick. It's really cool, and hopefully they don't keep eating their own tail. Give me some new stories. How many times do we have to see a reinventing of what it means to be a superhero? Like, Jesus Christ, this is not the 90s anymore, guys. Like, we have broad taste. And one last thing about this rant, because now I'm really passionate about it. One of like my first thing that I released was absolute dog shit. I'm not even gonna lie, it's super dog shit. But it got into the hands of people who don't usually read comics, and they were like, I can't believe I don't read comics. I'm gonna read more now. Because I think the gatekeeping like nature of comics, not that everybody does it, but there's a lot of it that's like, oh, you don't know Superman 42? Yeah. And you're a woman, why are you in a comic book store? It's such a turn on for a lot of people, and I think those people like harm the industry, and it's just very upsetting, because I think comics is super fucking cool. Less than 50% of people in the States have ever read a comic, and I don't think that should be the case. So just want to put out the best shit out there and hopefully get it into people's hands. So that's been on my mind recently.
I like that a lot, because I agree completely. Like, my favorite comics are the ones that push expectations of what comics are.
Yeah.
And horror comics, because I still forever
you can't go wrong. Yeah.
Like, yeah. Obviously, horror comics are there, but yeah, like, give me unique page layouts. Like, I will go out on the limb. I don't like the Watchmen. The stagnant page layouts. I know it was intentional, but it just does nothing for me except make me want to fall asleep. So I read it before I would fall asleep every night for like a month and a half, because it took me forever to get through. But give me like dynamic page layouts. You can create anything you want to. And the more people that I tell now that I have a comic, and it's like, I co-created a comic, like I made the thing, and then I show it to people, and it's like, well, this doesn't look like how did you come up with how this looks? And it's like, I wanted to do something different, because the whole page is play withable.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's a word now.
It is.
Like, it's a hyphenate,
Webster dictionary uploading
play
it today.
Withable. Yeah.
Perfect.
I'll update the wiki.
No, but I completely agree. I think there's so much room for just difference, and especially with like manga. I've come to love the different panel compositions and even I will give nods to I forget exactly who did the run, but there's also really interesting comic layouts. Like, there are some really brilliant ones, and that's like my next project. I'm trying to bridge them all together, but there's so much to be done. I completely agree. Yeah. It's really cool.
There's some like I just had it, and I'm Echolands. Instead of being a vertical page standard size, it's horizontal, but the same size. So you have really long pages. I know there's an indie comic that does the same format. There's a book called Anomaly, where it's like it's hardcover. It's like oversized, massive, widescreen. And they had like an app that had the like interactive. It was I think probably around the same time Marvel Now was happening, where you aim your camera at a panel and it came to life.
Of course,
it had that stuff in the book in Anomaly where you would point it at like a spacecraft, and suddenly on your phone, you've got a 3D rendering of the spacecraft like spinning in real time that you can zoom in on different details and stuff. Or it had creatures that if you tap the screen, they get angry and, you know, shake their club at you or whatever. Like, I've never seen a comic that does that. And
Yeah.
so it sticks with me. Like, it's not my favorite comic, but it did something different. And I'm here for the different stuff. Like, do something different with it. I love Matt Kint because he takes comic creation and makes an onion out of it. And it's like, well, here's the main story, but then here's the subtext, and then here's playing with the, you know, the formats, and like, here's this extra thing that hardly anybody's going to notice because, you know, not everybody reads every single word on every single page like I do, especially when it's him. And I'm like looking in the background, like, wait a second, I think that guy was this other guy in the other series he did, and he's just connecting them. And I messaged him like, hey, am I crazy or is this that guy? And he's like, no, you're right, that's him. I just hid it in there for fans of the book that would notice. I'm like, you're a mad genius. But he's doing stuff that people aren't doing. Like, he released a flocked hardcover of a book called Furball that's about like a possessed cat. And so the cover is flocked, and so it's soft and feels like you're petting a cat.
That's
like
awesome.
Who the hell's doing that?
Nobody. And that's the cool thing. And I think this, for any genre, any piece of art, the people who are remembered and the people who find a place in your hearts are somebody who did something different at the time. Something that's true to them, something they believed in. I'm working on a video right now about the history of Spider-Man, just kind of like how it was published. Very short, probably like a 10-minute video, but Too Long Didn't Watch is basically everybody told Stanley he's fucking stupid. Nobody's gonna buy a Spider-Man super. What do you mean? People hate spiders. Everybody wants superheroes to be gods. They don't want them to be normal people under the mask. And he believed in it, and he talked his way into just like slipping it into Amazing Fantasy number 15, and it became the biggest thing because it was just a massive gap in the market, which I have somewhere. Oh, there we go. There it is. It's not the real. It's not the real one.
It's like, oh, it's just casually sitting on your shelf.
It's a reprint, but I just like to look at it because I'm like, that is what drives me, is how to make something that stands out, and that's something that's true to you and something that you believe in. So
yeah, I dig it. The other thing that I wanted to ask was the title of your book is Print is Not Dead. So I'm curious, as someone who's gotten more into reading digital comics because it's easy to keep them, and again, the like out of long box shelf and the wife that's mad with how much space they take up. Like, where is that an intentional? Like, is there more of a statement there of like, hey, print comics are still going to be print comics no matter what? Or am I just like reading too much into, because I've been talking about print versus digital comics recently?
Oh, no, you're right. You're right on the money there. I think it is. So it's like, there are two reasons why I did it. One, because I didn't know how to compact this in an interesting way. Like put it all together, because there is no theme, and I wanted to do something like inspired by a Robin Williams show, like Welcome to My Mind or whatever. But it just, people don't give a shit who I am. Like, why do you want to come see my mind? And what I realized what it was really about, because I even like print out my scripts and I edit them on paper still, is just like, the thing that I fell in love with is physical media. That's a big statement of like, this is not going away. Even if it does, it's going to come back like vinyl. Like, this is the shit we need right now. And then a part of that, which I don't think I ever really went into on the campaign, maybe I mentioned it once or twice, but I hate digital because one of the, like, in the terms of service is like, you don't own this. Like, it could be taken away, ripped from you at any time, and books can't do that. They are yours forever. They are truly yours. You know, you can do whatever you want with them. You can rip them up, you can keep them in pristine condition. And so that's kind of the philosophy, is this is yours, this is ours, because print is not dead. Hopefully we all have some connection with print, and we really enjoyed liking it growing up. You weren't reading, you were reading the title as it was meant to be proclaimed. And then as a marketing standpoint as well, because that's just how my brain works, is I really like movements to be behind what I do. Like people can get behind whatever I do. This one just happens to
Mm.
be the title of it. But you know, but it's something that I want people to be proud to, like, you know, the sticker or the whatever, the add-ons or whatever. I want you to rock it, display it. Like it is punk, really, at the end of the day. It's a, you know, it is, print is not dead. It's got the cutouts from magazines.
Yeah.
It makes it so I take all of the, you know, the history, and we make one thing together. And that's kind of, that is what Print is Not Dead is all about at
That's
the end
dope.
of the day. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. As soon as you had reached out on Discord, and then like I think you sent me either the press release or like the pre-launch sneak peek or whatever.
Yeah.
And just looking through it, I was like, oh yeah, this is my aesthetic. I'm super here for, like, everything is super punk.
Thank you.
And the idea of like celebrating print media when the world is saying, no, everything's going digital. We need
Yeah.
to go digital. It's like, no, we don't.
Yeah.
And that only makes me want to go analog even more.
Yeah. And honestly, I always read physical, because I hate reading on a screen. I get so distracted. I just want to
Yeah.
lose myself in the world, and I can't do that when I get a notification that the tariffs just raising prices again. You know, I'm just like,
Yeah.
I'm not in my own world, whatever. Sorry to break politics, but yeah, fucking,
It's real though. Like,
but it's real.
always there. It's
Yeah.
always there. And it does take that intentionality of like, so I have bringing my laptop to work, and on my lunch, I will sit with no Wi-Fi and I'll pull up my PDF of whatever next comic I'm reading
Yeah.
and I'll read it. And I'm like, I will sit here and eat my salad and read my comic on my laptop, because I know I'm not going to get any notifications because I'm not connected. And so that's like the best case scenario that I'm finding with that new rhythm of like, instead, because I used to read them on my phone when I would have to go into the office, and I would sit in the little break room thing and like put headphones on because everyone always wants to come in and talk work. And it's like, I'm on my lunch. Like,
Yeah,
shut
leave me
up.
alone.
Can't you see I'm wrapped up in this thing?
It's lunch, not lunch work, brother.
Yeah. Well, I'm just eating my lunch at my desk today. No, you're sucking up. That's what you're doing. I just had to stop myself from saying a name. You might watch.
Fuck you, John. That's his name. I accidentally get it right completely.
Nail it right out of the gate. It wasn't John, but I had a John.
about me. It wasn't John, but there is a
wasn't
John.
But there
different
is.
guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
different John. But no,
Right.
like I used to do it on my phone, but I would get notifications or texts or whatever. And so now it's like, well, I can read on my laptop and just intentionally not connect to the internet. And then I'm not going to get any notifications because it's the laptop, right? Like you can't
Exactly.
call my laptop.
Yeah.
So it's working out really well. Actually, like I've read more comics in the last week once I figured that out than I did in like a month and a half at my last job. Because again, phone and versus laptop and all that stuff. But it's just creating those rhythms and having those established things. I always prefer physical, especially I'm the weirdo that like, I've gotten this recent kink right now where I want to buy like 60s and 70s horror comics or like the old Gold Keys, the old like Twilight Zone and Ripley's Believe It or Not comics, Witching Hour, all of the Vault of Horror, all of those old ones. The first thing I do is open it to the middle and just I love the smell of those old comics. And I don't even care. If I could find a candle that smelled like an old comic book.
I think we might have to go into business together and make a old candle, old book smell.
That's it. That's all we would do. Yeah.
I
and
would.
Like grandma's basement.
Well,
like, man,
my grandma had mothballs, so I'm not very fond of the smell, but close enough.
That's fair.
Enough. But old book smell, if we could figure out how to synthesize that, that would be a bestseller. Not even gonna lie. Like genuine. I would invest my money into that. Like I'm dead ass. Like I sound like I'm joking, but I'm 100% serious.
Super in.
We
Yeah.
should do this.
Yeah, I don't know a thing about it, but that's what I want all the time. And
Figure it
then,
out.
if I don't go to the coffee shop and write, I can just light my old comic book smell candle and sit here and still feel like I'm writing in a coffee shop or in a library or in an old bookstore or whatever. It's a charming smell and it
It
brings me
is.
joy.
It's so good. It's so
But
good.
okay, so I don't have any official notes left, but I got two more things I want to do. The first one is I'm going to take a screenshot and use that as the YouTube thumbnail, mainly because I just like posing and it makes my life easier. So I'm going to get the keyboard shortcuts and then you're over here. Okay. Let me do it this way. All right, cool. 3, 2, 1. Okay.
Wow.
And then the
Hated
other
that.
thing. So you're saying I should have made it go longer. Great. Got it. Pose for
next
2
time.
minutes.
2 minutes. Yeah, just don't.
Just like I'm still taking them.
You need different positions as well. Like you gotta do them all. Just like before the interview, you gotta like mail them like the photo booth material, like the items. Like, all right, time to open the secret box now and pick your poison.
There's a little top hat on a stick or a superhero mask on a stick. You choose.
Of course, I'm picking the top hat. So
Obviously, yeah,
Yeah,
because you're
so-
classy AF, bro.
yeah, exactly.
The other thing I always like doing at the end of every stream is I love talking to creators who have different walks of life, different experiences, different perspectives, and yet we all have the same shared similarity of loving comic books. And so to lean into people being individuals, I just like opening up the floor for anything that you want people to hear directly from you. It could be go back to Kickstarter because you're $800 away from the next stretch goal. It could be why top hats are better than bowler hats. The content doesn't matter at all to me. I really like that every time I do this is just a side note and me patting my own back, that I find something fun to say that relates to something that's been in the conversation.
Yeah, it's been good.
Top hat,
It's
bowler hat thing.
hilarious. You're great. You should be a comedian. Call back.
I'm just situational. I'm
Should
not
be a writer. I was also gonna say we kind of full circle the conversation at the perfect time.
Yeah.
I forget exactly what it was, but we were talking about like organizing in the beginning, and now we're talking about it at the end. I was like,
Yeah. It's
snail
just-
eating its own tail in the best way. You did it on purpose.
there,
and
man.
that's my headcanon.
But all of that preamble to say, like, this is the time where I'm going to stop talking, which is hard for me to do on the show. And I just let you share any message that you want people hear directly from you, Mr. Elijah Joseph.
It's okay. I also love the sound of my own voice. I'm not going to tell you to back the Kickstarter because you have already done that by now, or have made the decision to do it or not based on my personality. So who gives a shit? But if I had a microphone for the entire world, I would probably say something like, damn, I knew this question was coming and I had like so many things I wanted to say, but I don't know what to say. And like, I don't want to sound cliche. I don't want to sound like somebody who's begging for people to like them, but I just think it's like simply just make what you want to see in the world. Be good, lead with kindness if you can. I think those are outside of comics. Like, I think that was like the theme. Find your inspiration outside of comics, bring it in if you are a writer. Just kind of just show up as somebody who people want to be around. And I think that is like the only message I would spread right now, just because I like walk down the street, and maybe it's just because I'm like a friendly person or whatever, or like a fucking puppy. But like I always just want to say hi to everyone, and like maybe like 75% of people are just like, don't fucking talk to me. Yeah. I'm in my own world walking down the street in public. And I'm just, it's in a small town. If it's in New York, it's a different conversation. You don't have to talk to every single person you pass, but just like genuine, just kindness and niceness. I feel like we're missing that, and just neighborly love is even in small communities that have felt like it's been diminishing. And I think everything that I try to do is to bring a little bit of that back. So.
So you're looking for like the Stepford Wives vibe of like Pleasantville, everybody knows everybody all the time,
No,
and
it doesn't
sharing each
even
other's
it doesn't even need
Right.
to be that. It's just common courtesy. Even if you don't like see someone ever again, just like fucking what's the harm in waving back to somebody or
Mhm.
just saying good morning to them? Like it's not gonna ruin your day. You don't have to become best friends with them. I just think we can just in general just be just slightly more nice to everybody.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I've had just an amazing conversation in an hour and 13 minutes that makes me feel happy about the world. But when I leave, people kind of suck, and so just kindness is the new punk rock or fucking whatever.
Mhm.
Uh, and that is mic drop, baby,
That's
mic
it.
drop, mic
That's it.
drop.
I'll enhance the just be nice to people when you're walking. There are people that live in my neighborhood. I don't know where they live. I don't know their life. I don't know their schedule, but I regularly, like when I worked from home, I would walk same time every morning, like 10 to 10:30 ish, somewhere in there. I was walking, and there were like three other people that had that same walk schedule. And after walking by them and not saying anything, because I'm usually listening to an audiobook or music or whatever, I was like, you know what? This is dumb. I keep seeing these same people. So I'm just going to say hi or show a smile at the very least and see what the reception is. And so I started playing a game with everybody that I see when I'm walking. I'll start with the smile. And if they smile back the next day, I'll wave. And if they wave back the next day, I'll vocally say, morning. How are you? Hey
Yeah.
there. And it just kind of built from there to where now I see them if I'm like driving or they're driving and we happen to see each other, we still like wave, smile at each other. I have no idea these people's names. We've never had conversations, but it's just from like the spot of, hey, we're doing the same thing at the same time.
Yeah.
So just be nice. And
It
we
is.
can
I
take
think
our
at the
lanes and
at the end of the day, what I think at that is we're all in this together. We're all you humans. We're all going through it. We all have our different stories, but at the end of the day, we're all running towards the same place at maybe at different paces, but we're gonna all hit a brick wall one day. So I don't know. Let's just be kind. Sometimes people won't even wave back. It's just give me a scowl for even daring to intrude on their personal space.
yeah.
Um,
Or
those
yeah. Even worse.
and that's
Yeah,
why we wave at them so they like us, so they
that's
don't
right.
kill us.
So when
That
they do go on the serial killer spree, they'll skip my house
yeah.
because I smiled at them when we were walking together. See, we can flip that. Yeah, or they
That's
think I'm
why
the
we're
serial killer.
storytellers, because the stories we tell ourselves are delusional and entertaining.
All right, who said I'm not living in fiction? Dude, this was a ton of fun. I'm so glad that our schedules worked out to
Yeah, same.
not just have you hang out, but also during the campaign. I'm stoked that it's already passed some stretch goals, so you're guaranteed to get the book if you back it again. If you tuned in halfway through, or if you were like skip to the end, what happened? Go to the description, and the Kickstarter for Print is Not Dead is linked there. I also have how you can find Elijah on social media, but for those that don't want to do that, where are you on socials and how do they find you?
I always just plug Hey Comics with two Y's, HEYY.com, comics.com, slash sign up or slash links. One of those, sign up or links. Hold on. My plug is bad. I apologize. I'm so sorry.
Pop quiz.
Kill me. Heycomics.com slash links.
There it is.
That is where you can find me in every form. I have a newsletter called Comics on the House where you get a free mini comic every week. That's where I would point to people to stay in touch, because that's like a personal newsletter, but really not just a way to give more comics and put them out the world and keep writing. So that's where you can find me the most. Other than that, wherever, I guess. I don't know. I'm a slut for attention, so I'm everywhere. YouTube, Elijah Joseph. But if one place, you can find it all on heycomics.com/links.
That's awesome. I don't think I realized until you just said it that you're the Comics on the House guy, because I've been getting that newsletter for like months.
No way. No, you're fucking joking. No way.
I'm dead serious.
Holy shit. That's
Yeah.
hilarious. Oh,
Yeah. And like
wow.
every time I'm like, oh yeah, cool, real life stuff. And then like here's the page, and then like other stuff that's happening. I like the format of this. And
Oh,
Comics
thank
on the
you.
House, and like you get it, obviously it's like, oh, free comics, I'm in. Yeah. Especially for like one pagers. And yeah, until you said that, I'm like, I have to go and make sure I'm not insane. Like,
That's crazy. It's so weird because I run like a $5 ad on like Instagram and Facebook or whatever, and
Mhm.
it's just I don't sometimes I don't realize people actually fucking read these things, but
Yeah.
I'm genuinely ecstatic that you have not hated it and still read it. So that's super awesome. And when your Kickstarter or anything comes out, if anything you want to plug in the newsletter, feel free to just let me know, and I'm happy to help out. So
Dope. I will definitely take you up on that. I appreciate it, man. But yeah, this has been super fun. I'm on the notes. We've done the two things that we need to do. Hang tight. I got logistics for you after the end. But for everybody else, especially Gary, thanks for hanging out, Gary, and
yeah,
sending
thanks,
off in the
Gary. You're fucking
comments
awesome, dude.
and back in the book and being a badass dude. For everybody else, why don't you tell someone like, hey, you missed this? Check out this channel. And I need to be better about promoting my own thing. But I hate it, dude. I hate that, like, like and subscribe. I hate it. I'm not
Yeah,
that. But
no.
if you liked it, tell a friend that you liked it, and maybe they'll like it too. And you can vote for me right now on the cbcawards.org. I'm a finalist for most engaging host in
What the
the
hell?
tier of 0 to 499 subscribers. And I'm one of 5 that made the cut. And so now you have until October 11th to vote for your favorite punk as the most engaging host so that I get some fancy award. And it's actually an award, like he mails out physical awards. So all back together into the analog, get away from screens, go out, touch some grass, read some comics. And
I'm looking for the link right now so I can vote for you because
it's in the description. I
this is
I removed all of my social media stuff. I removed all of my normal like plug links, and I just put the like, hey, go vote for me thing in the description. So
I'm voting literally right now. I just heard my
hell
voice and I
yeah.
want to kill myself, but I'm voting right now, and you should too. That's awesome. I had no idea this was happening, and
Yeah,
I'm
I
100% voting right now.
Secret Time, I didn't know they were a thing either.
Huh.
And he like I think it was an Instagram ad or someone had shared it or something, and I saw it and I was like, oh cool, what's this? And so I nominated a bunch of my friends and nominated a bunch of cool channels that I'm into. And then someone nominated me, and then some other people nominated me, and then I made the finalist. And so now I'm like, well, shit, I'll just go all in on this. Like, yeah, give me the award. I want an award. Okay. I like awards. I still have awards from my least favorite job ever, but it was an award. So I kept it. But
Hell yeah.
anyway, after you vote for me, go do what's good for you, punks, and read some indie comics because we are out of here. Bye, everybody.